Bring it on. Want some, get some.
Can I get a hell yeah?
Yes, I am a pirate.
You have to go with the pirates because, of course, they have cannons and everything.
It's a pirate's life for me.
Be proud of who you are and what you are. You're a pirate.
It is a first down. Pirates.
Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. Or you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
I think I've ever been in a building as loud as that was. It was deafening in there.
We will get to Omaha. I can promise you that.
And it's purple all night long in Eastern North Carolina.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
Yeah. My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down to my soul. And I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode.
All right, welcome into TSO Sunday Night. That's right, every Sunday night you can catch us, this great show we call The Sports Objective. And let's bring in one of the greats, the GOAT, Kyle from the Grange Barber. How are you?
What's going on, Dave? Sitting here watching the intro. We need to change that picture of me and Mike Houston, maybe to the one with me and Blake shaking hands that Matt loves so much.
The handshake heard round the world, fellas.
You know what? It was what led to him. I said he's earned the job. He deserves the job. And the next day, by God, he got the job. So I'll take full credit for it.
It was a matter of hours. Hey, Matt Semenza, have you ever made a deal like that on the run on the tarmac?
What's up, fellas? Yeah, I love that. I love that handshake. It was aggressive, but it did the job. And I also we joke around with Bubba about the missed hand slap of the decade. So, between
for those that didn't see it, go back and watch. Well, you've seen it. You might not have noticed it. Go back and watch Rajay's touchdown to give us the win in the Military Bowl over NC State, and you can see Bubba trying to give a high five to Rajay, and Rajay was too fired up to give Bubba a high five. And also on that video is Matt jumping up and down like a little kid, which is fantastic. So.
and making SportsCenter. I mean, you're famous, man, Matt. I mean,
yeah, it's good to be famous for something, and if that's what it takes, that's why. It's funny though. I've seen so many different angles of that touchdown since then on X and just different platforms, and everyone though you'll see me and Bubba freaking out. Bubba's high stepping in the end zone. I'm jumping him up and down. That's something I always remember. That was just a great play, and I think I've watched it 100 times.
Oh yeah.
Man, how many times? So you got that. Do you know how many times you on film ever appeared on SportsCenter? It seems like I'm like 97 against Cincinnati on a Thursday night. It seems like you played well in that game. Did you make any SportsCenter highlights that you can remember?
One time I had an interception against Southern Miss, and I think it was just like it was in the highlights. But that's all I can really remember, Unfortunately, I didn't have anything other than that, but definitely the team did, which was good enough for me.
Right.
No doubt about it.
I don't know if you just appeared on the video, like there I am, that kind of thing, not featured so much.
Right. Yeah. You just happen to be. Yeah. A few times just kind of happened to be on the video. Yep.
Okay.
Welcome into the Sports Objective as we have Christian and JR already in the chat. What's up, fellas? And guys.
Yeah, the audience is going to be down tonight, Dave. I forgot to promote the thing. I'm kind of in charge of promotion for the show.
Okay.
And I forgot to promote the damn thing tonight, and we're an hour early. So the audience will be down in the live. Hopefully we'll make it up in the archive on YouTube, Facebook, etc.
No doubt. Well, let's see if Green Bay and as we're watching live, Green Bay and the Eagles are on. So that might have some reason for the Eagles getting ready. Looks like they're going to score again. Chuck, what's up, Chuck? Chuck is here. Also another great one as we have the best viewers and listeners around. And guys, lot to talk about. Matt, while we have you on, I know football-wise, we always talk about every year it gets busier and busier. There is no more off season. How are things? I know the transfer portal is closed, but how do you think things went overall?
Overall, I think it was pretty successful, Dave. I mean, I think we did some really nice things, especially in the secondary. And that's kind of the first thing I wanted to just jump into. You know, you look at what we did there, and you brought in two corners that you feel really good about. And, you know, we've talked about Jordy Lowry from Western Carolina, who was an FCS All-American, and you feel really good about him slotting him in to start at one side. And then, you know, a few weeks ago, we talked about Key Crowell, who was another big pickup, you know, a kid originally from Tennessee who started his career off at the D2 level. And we were able to get him on a visit, you know, 10 days ago, and we're able to close the deal. And then, you know, another big pickup this week, guys, maybe this one's a little, you know, under the radar, but we got a corner from Maryland by the name of Jonathan Atkins. And this is a big one, like maybe not as big in terms of like the name, but this is a guy that does have talent, and you can see it on film, and he's got some experience in the Big Ten. And you need to have depth at that position. And, you know, you just have to see how it all plays out in terms of who starts. But I think he's going to get an opportunity at corner. And I also think he's going to get an opportunity at nickel to play, kind of like his former teammate at Maryland did, who, you know, we won't mention his name, who just left the program. But there's three guys right there that you feel pretty good about.
Yeah, you know, didn't start in the Big Ten any. I think the game he played the most in at corner was against Minnesota, where he had 18 snaps. But you know, you figure he should be able to contribute here in the American. God knows we need depth at corner. What is the portal? The portal's closed, or it's not closed? There's a dead period. What, beginning tomorrow? How long is the dead period?
Yeah, so I think it now I could be wrong about this because it's changed so much, but I think it now runs through spring ball. And then, yeah, so you'll see, you know, school's obviously starting, so you had to get guys in before. But I just want to, you know, my thoughts on it. I do think we strategically held off at certain positions until after spring ball.
Well, we can go ahead, Matt. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Well, I just was going. Nobody can enter the portal now, but I mean, can we still? Because it seems like they were the defensive end, the JUCO defensive end, who couldn't do his visit this weekend because of the weather. They're still talking about trying to get him in. We got the kid from Houston, the defensive end that
Tucker.
they're trying to get in. So it's not totally dead. What are the rules on that, Matt? If you've already entered the portal, can you? I mean, what is the situation on that? Because I mean, you got drop class day is Friday, so you can still enroll a little late.
Exactly. Like, I think from what I understand, you have really up until like the 17th to enroll in school. So we still have some time here, you know, and I know the big thing for Tucker from Houston is that an extension was filed because it's just some wacky thing with the NCAA and, you know, trying to get his paperwork done. So I think that extension gives you a little grace period. And in terms of the kid from Georgia Military, I'm drawing a blank on his name. I have it right here. It's Benton, Aiden Benton.
Yep.
You still have a chance, I guess, to get him in, you know, tomorrow. And you hope for a quick commit. So yeah, there's still some time, but I think the 17th is pretty much, you know, the end of it.
Well, if he wants to be in for spring semester and we want him, I mean, that should be he ain't got a lot of choices at this point, where unless he just wants to wait. You know, it depends on who else has offered him. Also, do we know where guys like Lamp and Nash, more so Lamp, who we did offer a small NIL deal to, did they end up anywhere? I mean, if Lamp's still sitting there, and bring your butt back to East Carolina, he was a decent player and had, I think, a big upside.
I'm pretty sure Nash has not committed anywhere, as far as I can, you know, last I heard a few days ago, and. Lamp, I think, I could be wrong, but I think it's the same thing. I don't think those guys have had an opportunity yet, which is, you know, that's tough for them because if at the stage in their career, if you're not in for spring ball at your new school, good luck, man. Like, that's going to be really tough. And, you know,
we offered Lamp $10,000 from what I understand, not to, spread rumors, but it came from a reliable source, which isn't a huge NIL deal, but it's better than nothing. You would think if he's still sitting out there, Nash, I think ended, things didn't after the bowl game. I don't think things ended so well with some behavior in the locker room, but I never heard anything of that about Lamp. You think any chance he ends up back on the team?
That's a good question. I don't, without knowing exactly how it went down on the last day, it's hard to say, but look, it would be better for him. Like, take that opportunity, and who knows if that 10 grand is still available for him at this point. But you would think you'd want to take that opportunity and come back to the team. Now Nash is to your point, very different situation, and I don't think that based on the story that we heard in the locker room, I think we can pretty much write that one off.
Yeah, it is a shame because after that play he made in the bowl game, again, he would have been beloved here. And he claims he had an offer from App State. Maybe it wasn't for any cash. I don't know. I don't know what his situation is, but again, we need depth at corner. Both those guys are still sitting here in Greenville. I think one is more likely to return than the other based on things we heard, or we may not see either back. But I don't know. I guess at this point in time, you would say, hell no, don't welcome them back. Well, what's the damn difference? You're bringing in guys from here, there, and everywhere. Unless the locker room has a problem with it. Maybe not Nash. He needs to humble himself quite a bit. But with Lamp, you're willing to offer him 10 grand. If he still ain't committed anywhere, I don't get it. But whatever. And another situation with football, Matt, Dave. Speaking of corner, obviously our cornerbacks coach, or the guy that we thought was going to be our cornerbacks coach, Jones, came over here from Carolina, former defensive coordinator in the SEC at Ole Miss, stays here for just about a week, and now he's off to Alabama. Going to make about 3 times the money, so you really can't blame him. Plus, this is alma mater, but it leaves us in a tough situation where we still need a corners coach. Really hadn't heard any names come up. Have either one of you guys?
I haven't, Dave. I don't know if you have, but I think the coaches convention is coming up.
It is. Yeah, I believe later this week, maybe next week, in the next week to 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah. So that'll be an opportunity for Blake to shake a lot of hands and gauge people's interest in the job. I think he'll be able to find somebody. All these openings in college football now, with the way these staffs get fired and they move on, I would think that there's a lot of capable guys out there. I think the biggest thing with that position, guys, is you want somebody who can recruit. You want a dynamic recruiter at that position, and maybe it's somebody maybe with not quite as much experience on the field, but guess what? Like, they can go into a living room and close recruits on East Carolina. So that's a huge thing.
Yeah, no doubt. And another thing, and we haven't seen it from our defensive coordinator, not yet for whatever reason, which surprises me a little bit. I thought maybe we'd get somebody from Auburn, and who knows, after spring ball down there, maybe we will at linebacker. But I'd like to bring somebody in that corners back room that could bring some guys into the secondary, maybe some linebackers, et cetera, at post spring ball. That's something I don't know if you consider that when you make the hire, if you just hire the best person for the job, but somebody that can bring some guys in would be nice.
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny you mentioned linebacker, Kyle, because, and I know, Dave, we talked about this last week, but I really think we need to add a middle linebacker with proven experience, a guy who's been productive, and doesn't have to be in Power 5, but maybe, like it could be a guy from, like a Georgia Southern or a Mac school that was really productive, that's just looking for another opportunity. And, I think those guys will be out there for us. And, I think he touched on that. I think that's a big need. I think that's the biggest need we have left. And I still want to see one more interior D lineman, with some size, like a 300-pounder that we can rotate in there.
Did the kid, the wide receiver that we were competing with Mississippi State, did he ever announce where he was going?
He did announce Mississippi State, and
okay, I missed that.
Man, if anything screams what's wrong with college football and this NIL, you look at that situation, and I think in a pre-NIL world, I think he would have committed to East Carolina. But you make your last visit to Mississippi State and they throw a bag at you and your family, and it's hard to say no to it.
Yeah, and a Mississippi native, it is, and I agree with you. I think pre-NIL he'll come here, join his former, co-offensive coordinator there from Ole Miss, and our current offensive coordinator, and a lot of familiarity with the system. Had a chance. He really, and I wish, no problem with the kid. He took the money and it's his home state, and he gets to play in the SEC. But you really think he could have stood out here and been a star, already knows the system, could have stepped right in and contributed big time. But it is what it is. And that's one thing. He would have been a luxury. He wasn't a need. You got a kid like that who is willing to, has interest in you. You want to take a chance on, not take a chance. You're going to certainly take him, but it's not like we are in desperate need of wide receivers. That's one place we do have talent.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, would have been nice to have him. But to your point, I think you're going to continue to find these guys. I think you're going to continue to find plenty of guys after spring ball. But again, like the only problem with that is you miss out that entire time learning the schemes.
Yeah, exactly, which is irritating. But you're gonna have guys buried on depth charts that let me ask you a question, Matt. You played linebacker. Playing middle linebacker? You kind of in that. I know you got to know blitz schemes, cover. Your coverages, etc. But is that an easier position to pick up post spring versus say wide receiver or tight end, or would you say it's all the same?
I think receiver and tight end are definitely a little easier to pick up. I think I think outside linebacker is really tough to pick up because you have to, sometimes you have to play over the defensive end, over the tight end, and then sometimes you have to play in space and coverage. So I think linebacker can be just linebacker in general, whether you're inside or outside. It's definitely a difficult position to learn. So, but I think you think back to that receiver, and I'm going to draw a blank on his name. You guys will know it, but we got a receiver in Lance Lewis, right?
Yeah.
He showed up. It was Ruff's first game before we played Tulsa, the Hail Mary. He showed up about 2 weeks before that game and started, and it was history. I mean, you talk about incredibly productive. So that's just an example of a wide receiver who came right in and contributed.
Yeah, and of course he didn't catch the Hail Mary. You're just saying
the game, yeah. The Hail Mary game. Yep.
Yeah. Lance Lewis contributed right away. Was that? I get him and Lance Ray mixed up. I'm trying to remember which one. Well, I remember one came in 2012 against App State. I think that was Lance Ray, but I do think you're right. I think Lance Lewis was 2010. But
2010.
Yeah, he was outside receiver. So you kind of just run your out routes and go.
Yeah, exactly. So and I saw really quick. I saw Chuck. Chuck made a comment. We got somebody to decommit from Mississippi State, Horsley. Yep, Chuck, you're absolutely right. And that's since we're talking about corner a little bit. I just want to mention. That's a player who he's going to be in line to play as a true freshman.
Who was that? He was talking about, Matt?
His name is Darion Horsley, and 6'2", so he brings really good size. Yeah, high school kid. He was originally committed to Mississippi State, as Chuck mentioned, and he flipped here, and I'm pretty sure he's enrolling for spring ball, and he's one too. Since we're just talking about corners, he could definitely get an opportunity to play early.
Interesting that he flipped from Mississippi State. I don't follow high school recruiting that much. That tells me he wants a chance to start right away. And, was he sold on, hey, come here, and then you can go play at a real SEC school, Pinocchio, and make the big time money?
Maybe, but also the fact that, guys, so one thing about it that these guys need to see is that, look, one of the things I wanted to say last show that I failed to afterwards that I thought about it was the fact that these guys – today, if you're a really good player, it doesn't matter where you're playing. The fact of the matter is, if you want to go to the NFL, you need playing time. If you get playing time at East Carolina, they'll find you. I mean, our technology is getting better and better and better. They know where the good players are.
No, I agree with you. The problem is, Dave, you got quarterbacks making $5 million to go to Miami now.
Right.
It's more than a lot of NFL players make. And, I saw Alan Thomas post about that earlier, former Georgia quarterback. transfer to Miami. He's going to make $5 million. And,
Wow.
at some point, Matt, Dave, if this doesn't get reeled in, if we don't put a cap on this, if this continues to be the Wild West, and I keep going back to revenue sharing, I do think some of this is going to get cleaned up because it's not sustainable. One of two things is going to happen. We're going to put a cap on it. Revenue sharing is going to stabilize things, or you're going to have a break where you have the SEC, the Big Ten, and a handful of schools from the ACC, i.e., Miami, and a handful of schools from the Big 12, i.e., Colorado, form about a 50-team league, and then the rest of us are going to play football. What I do think some schools are going to be very disappointed to find out if that happens, like NC State, Virginia Tech, some other people, is they're going to find out what Oregon State and Washington State found out, that they're just not that relevant as they thought they were. And I do think that's coming. I mean, Miami paying $5 million for a quarterback. NC State can't do that. Virginia Tech can't do that. I mean, they're closer to us, despite their conference revenue, with this NIL thing, than they are the Miami or the Florida States, or certainly the Ohio States or the Notre Dames. And I think if this doesn't get reeled in, there will be a split coming. And if it's the amount of teams that I think it's going to be, which is I think 40 to 50, I embrace it, because that means the majority of us will stay together, and y'all go ahead and play the pseudo NFL, and we'll play college football the way it was.
Yeah, I think it's definitely coming down the pike. I mean, but it seems like everybody you talk to is just irritated about it. Like at some point, the NCAA is going to have to take action because, I like every game I go watch, I'm with friends, we're all hanging out. And everybody you talk to is so annoyed with this NIL and players just transferring all over the place. So you're right. I mean, listen, if it's going to happen, just get it done. If we're going to have a split, let's just get it done now and move on so we can kind of get back to college football.
Exactly.
I think they know, though, that the ratings will suffer, like we talked about. And that's one thing that they don't like, is the fact that they want both. They want the kind of separation, autonomy as a autonomous 5 at 4 or whatever it is now. And
but it won't even be all 4 conferences, Dave. That's the whole thing. It's you're going to get the NC States and the Virginia Techs of the world are going to start getting fed up competing in the same conferences with school. Now, Florida State, it didn't work out so well this year, did it? They put that a $12 million roster that won't worth a tinker's damn. But by and large, the NC States and the Virginia Techs are going to get a little frustrated competing in the same conference when they can afford to spend about a quarter of the money. We can't keep up with Memphis right now. Now, again, revenue sharing will help us a lot, but within our conference. But, like I say, I do think that break's coming if the NCAA doesn't reel this in. And what you're going to start having is certain schools, and like in NC State, again, they use them as an example, they're going to start pushing back in the ACC and asking for a cap for some of this revenue, where you're going to have other schools, say North Carolina, not asking for it to be capped. So that's where I think you're really going to start getting into the split coming, and it'll be the entire SEC, it'll be the entire Big Ten, but it will not be the entire ACC and the entire Big 12. I'd be willing to put money on it. Ask Washington State and Oregon State.
Yeah, no, I agree. You know what I was thinking of this week? I was thinking, like, you can go out and hire a coach. Like let's just look at UNC, for example, right? You can basically hire a coach, and he can sit on his ass in his office, and you can essentially throw money around and build a team. You could just buy a team. I mean, UNC right now is essentially buying a football team. And they were not good this past year. Their defense was atrocious. But, Belichick, obviously, look, we know he's a great coach. He's got a proven track record. But my point is, it's going to get to the point where you don't even know, like, who are the truly great coaches? I mean, you could just go out and just buy a roster.
Yeah, and the tampering crap, him going after one of our players, Harold called him out on it without mentioning him by name. And at what point does the NCAA crack down on that? And if the NCAA isn't going to crack down on that, I say we tamper away. I say we get on the phone, does Gardner Webb have a middle linebacker that's a star in the FCS level? Let's call the son of a bitch and get him in here post spring. I mean, if other people are going to tamper, let's tamper too.
Well, here, guys, also, there's even talk on the talking heads on sports radio that Belichick may not even coach it down at the college level. I found that really interesting. I'm wondering now, guys, if he did that. The old adage, with for those of us that are 40 and 50 somethings, it's better to have a job than no job at all. And the fact that UNC gave him the big deal, yada, 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 maybe he's positioned himself for a NFL job. Just out of curiosity, that's one thing.
Doesn't he have some kind of weird clause in his contract, Dave, that says if he gets offered an NFL position, his buyout is less or something? Dave, did either one of y'all know that? Did I just make that up? I swear to God,
I don't know.
Were any of our listeners know what I'm talking about? Matt, do you know what I'm talking about?
I did hear something about it because I know Tom Brady is trying to recruit him to the Raiders. To coach the Raiders. So, and I think I heard something, there's like a $10 million buyout or something, but
there was something, I don't know if I just made this up. Guys, if any of our viewers, listeners know what I'm talking about, that if he gets offered an NFL job after 5 months, I don't know. It was something weird. It was some weird clause.
But it would seem like to me that Bobby Hayes said there's a $10 million buyout for Belichick. And guys, this would be interesting to see.
That's a big buyout, Jesus.
Well, Fedora was 14, so that's nothing for UNC. It was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, they wouldn't be paying it. Whoever bought him out would be. So UNC wouldn't have to pay the $14 million. The Raiders would.
Oh, I know that.
Right. Or the $10 million. Yeah.
John White has on here. Within Belichick's 5-year, $50 million contract with UNC, there's an out clause, a $10 million buyout, should he decide to leave, but only through June 1st, at which point it'll decrease to $1 million. That's a sneaky clause.
Okay. So basically, it's if an NFL team comes calling right now, they're going to have to pony up $10 million, but after June 1st, it goes down to $1 million. Wow, that is interesting.
And guess who the coach would be if Belichick leaves? His son. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but the coach in waiting is his son.
Yep. They just brought in his son. He's a DC. He's been with the Washington Huskies for a few years. So I think there's probably a lot of validity to that. No doubt. So be interesting to watch. But it would be the funniest thing in the world if he left to take that job for the Raiders and completely screwed over UNC. That would make me extremely happy to see that. But quick question. Arthur had a question. He said, who did UNC take from us? They took our nickel. He was not in the portal.
Gavin Gibson.
Gavin Gibson. He was tampered with by Belichick. I think that's a universal fact at this point.
So to touch on that more after the bowl game, if you go look on YouTube for the post-bowl game press conference, Blake Carroll, he said there's another school in that same area that don't want to play us. It wants to treat us like a little stepbrother. And he said, we'll be your little stepbrother, but why don't you play us every year instead of trying to take our damn players and call our players? And the next day, Gavin Gibson entered the portal and went to UNC. So there you go.
Yeah. If you're tampering with players who have yet to enter the portal, to me that is a complete lack of integrity. And if the NCAA doesn't rein that in, they might as well quit. I mean, look, when somebody's in the portal, it's fair game.
Exactly.
But if you're openly recruiting players off of people's roster, there is something seriously wrong with that. I mean, 10 years ago, you would have got the death penalty for something like that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But
look, and another thing, too, if a kid is sending out feelers, look, just go ahead and enter the portal. If you have enough confidence in your ability that you're going to get paid, don't go out there and ask, hey, how much would you give me, Carolina, or whatever. And no, it's clearly tampering. And, it's no coincidence that Harold made those comments and then Gavin Gibson signed with UNC. So, and it was a huge loss. Great player. And, to me, and Belichick doesn't care, but to do that to an in-state school, I mean, it's really tacky.
Well, guess what? Belichick wore a sweatshirt for years. He doesn't care about tacky. But anyway, I still think, guys, this is all like I said, not to beat a dead horse, but I really believe that Belichick won't be the coach. It won't be it won't be the dad. It'll be the son for sure. But we'll see how that plays out. Overall, Matt, though, are you happy with the way things have turned out for the Pirates? I mean, I think we're going to be just fine. I think there's a lot of people that have the mindset. I understand. I'm not criticizing Pirate fans because we have the best fan base in the nation, in my opinion. But I think people are thinking old school. They're so worried about players leaving when that's the norm now.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's in some ways you have to come to grips with it, and I guess in other ways you hope for change. But it's like Johnny just said in his comment. Unfortunately, Matt, I have zero faith, in the NCAA leadership to do the right thing. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
I think, Dave, were you more alluding to did we do well in the portal?
Yeah,
I think we did okay. I think we could have done better, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. I think not having any corners coach hurt us. Offensively, we did well. We really didn't lose anything. We brought some pieces in. The receiver from Oklahoma. I know we lost Chase Sowell, but so what? Um, it's interesting that most of our offense came on defense, and we promoted our defensive coordinator to head coach. But I think we did okay in the portal. Would have liked to seen us do a little better. I'll be real happy if we can get this kid from Houston cleared. The university, NCAA, whatever the holdup is with his transcript. If we can get him in, he's a big piece. But I would say I would give our portal grade on offense an A-. I would give our portal grade on defense a B-.
Yeah, overall, I don't think, in other words, I think there's a lot of the fans worried. The reason I'm bringing that up, I want to let them know they are not, yes, they're players we lost that we would love to keep, but we're not as in bad shape as people think. The cupboard, I will say, is not bare. And
some of those players in the secondary were asked to leave. Not Lamp, not Gavin Gibson.
JV's
Javius Bond was also asked to leave, and oddly enough, ended up in the secondary. He ended up at corner at Austin Peay. I wonder if we thought about that, but can he stay healthy? But Javius Bond was asked to leave, or he was told he wasn't going to play running back anyway. Nash was asked to leave. Where a guy like Lamp was, we offered him a small NIL deal. Obviously, what's his name? I'm sorry, guys. IBM. He signed with Virginia Tech. We would like to hold on to him, but he was wanting 150 grand, and I think he got close to 100 grand at Virginia Tech. And I'm sorry, IBM's a good player, particularly coming down. In tackling, I thought IBM was particularly good. Coming down and making tackles against the run from the corner position. But is he worth 100 grand? If you got it to spend, maybe. But I wouldn't want to put 100 grand in him. I think the kid from Western Carolina is just as good.
By the way, Arthur has a comment for you, Kyle. He agrees with you. He said, please read this. I agree with Kyle. The transfer portal should not open until after the bowl games have been played. They play all year and won't play in a bowl game. It needs to be changed. And he says that they should require to be played in the bowl game. I agree with Kyle from last week. Please read my previous comment to Kyle and Arthur. I did.
Appreciate it, Arthur. You agreeing with me is a surefire bet every time. No, the transfer portal, you don't even have to wait until the bowl season's over. You can just, once you play your bowl game, although I guess some players could complain about that, so maybe just wait until the complete bowl season is over. I think if they don't want to do that, which they should, another way to fix that, again, I'm going to talk about revenue sharing again. I talked about this last week. Revenue sharing becomes a thing 2025 fiscal year in July.
The TSO
July. So, listen to my point here. With bowl games, the payout for the military bowl was around $2 to $3 million. So that's revenue. So going forward, there's no reason that the players shouldn't get direct revenue from these bowl games. And that should help a lot. So you got a kid now who wants to enter that transfer portal, even if they don't change the rule. If he's going to get, hey, look, if you're going to play in this bowl game, every player is going to get, let's say $5,000 each. He may put off entering that transfer portal until after that bowl game to get that $5,000. So that should become a thing. I see no reason why it wouldn't, with revenue sharing, becoming a thing in July. The kids should be taking a split of that bowl money. So I really think that problem could fix itself, even if they don't change that rule. And I wish they would change the rule. But that may even have a conflict with somebody like Winston Wright Jr., who wasn't going to enter the transfer portal. His career was over. He decided not to play in the bowl. If he was going to make $5,000 to play in that bowl game, I'm just using that as a number, he'd have probably played in it. So I would imagine with revenue sharing, that would include bowl distribution. Wouldn't you think so, Matt?
I would certainly think so. I mean, considering that you can essentially pay anybody for, with anything right now, I mean, you have to be creative, especially if you're in East Carolina. So, yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't. I honestly don't see why it wouldn't. And, I think Blake Harrell said it perfectly. He said, as it relates to the portal, opening before bowl season, he said, would the NFL start free agency before the playoffs or during the playoffs? And we all know the answer to that. So, and it's the same principle,
Yeah.
You can't lose players prior to those games. It's insanity. I mean, it's absolute insanity.
You know what the best part about that is,
though,
Matt? You know what the best part about that is, though, and I agree, the portal should not open until post bowl. But the best part about that is we lost 3 defensive starters to the portal. We lost an offensive starter to the portal. NC State lost 1 starter to the portal, and we still managed to beat them in the bowl game. That's the best part about all that.
It really is, and it shows. Like, that's the great thing about football, man. If you have a good game plan and if your team comes ready to play, you have a chance to win. And so, yeah, absolutely love it.
No doubt. I think it's down to want to, and NC State didn't want to play us, and it showed. And if you don't believe they wanted, ultimately, obviously, they wanted to beat us, but they wanted the quote-unquote bigger bowl. And they were supposed to win, remember, 10 games this year. It didn't happen. In fact, they only won 6. But anyway, hopefully for us, by the way, guys, we've got a great season coming up as far as our schedule. Get your season tickets starting. I checked with it'll be next month. They're not doing anything special this month. It'll be next month when tickets go on sale. And one more thing I want to add for college football for us, for East Carolina. This is your year where you get to change your seats. If you don't like your seats, you get to change them. Matt, are you going to go meet club level, man? We doing club level this year?
Man, if I was anywhere close, I would. I love club level. I think it's great.
Yeah,
Kyle knows how I feel about that. But yeah, man, I wish I could. I wish I wasn't 15 hours away.
Let me ask you something, Matt. I could you could have sat club level at the bowl game. Justin Butts, offered to hook us up. At least he offered to hook me up. I'm assuming he would have for you also. Yep. Would you rather have been club level or down there on the field? Come on, baby. Come on.
It was awesome on the field. It was awesome on the field.
Yeah,
it really was. That 100% on the field.
Speaking of football, one more thing from football related. Then we're going to switch briefly. We're trying to get here by 8. We're going to talk basketball, then touch on preview baseball just briefly. But January 24th, Friday night, January 24th. I believe I got that date right. East Carolina is doing a bowl party, a celebration. You can sign up. It's free, but you have to sign up. So go ahead and do that now if you haven't already. I saw the ad on Facebook. I don't know where else it is, but you get it's going to be a meet and greet with the players, coaches. Everybody's going to get a poster, a bowl championship poster suitable for framing. I think there'll be refreshments, etc. So yeah, January 24th. Friday night. Dave, do you have any more info on that, on where it's going to be? Is it going to be at the Murphy Center? Is it going to
I think it's
be
Murphy. I think. Let me double check on that. From what I remember reading, it was the Murphy Center, but I'll have to. I'll double check on that, you guys. But definitely a great event on, like you said, the 24th. Is it 7:00, Kyle?
I believe it was 6 or 7. I want to say
hour and a half.
I want to say it was 6 to 7:30.
No,
was it 6 to 7:30 or 7 to 8:30? There you go. All right, Dave's got it. All right,
you got
read
it.
the
5.
facts.
I'm totally wrong on everything. Surprise, surprise. It's actually in Harvey Hall, Kyle, and
Right, that's good.
Murphy Center, and it's 5:30 to 7, free and open to the public. And like you said, I got it in a Pirate Club email. This would have been on a couple of days ago.
It was Friday. It was Friday. Yeah.
So
yeah, and I'll say this, and it's too late now probably to change it, but I would have probably done 6 to 7:30 versus 5:30 to 7. A lot of people getting off rushing over there at 5:30, but I guess you got time to plan. It's not until 24th, but yeah. So 5:30 to 7 at Harvey Hall.
That's going to be a great thing. And again, get your tickets for football starting next month. I'm telling you guys, Matt, if there's any way that you could get an apartment or a house right near the stadium, whatever you could do that. Just want to let you know that we have.
I wish.
I know, man. Eventually, I tell you what, right now, we're going to be talking about ECU baseball.
Matt, just get a thing home. Just get a trailer and a trailer park in Winterville, and you can just use it on the weekends.
That would work. That would work.
Exactly. See, guys, we're trying to get here by 8, Matt. So if you just want to stay on the rest of the show, and then we're going to switch off football, basketball this week. The Pirates got a big midweek win over Temple, 1-point win inside Minges Coliseum, Williams Arena. Great effort. We are rebounding like crazy, and then you go to Memphis Saturday, play your asses off against the 19th team in the country, lose 74-70. Again, we out rebounded them. If we could just, the effort we're given, the rebounding, the defense is there. If we could just find some semblance of an offense, and we saw it a little bit in the second half against Memphis, we saw it a little bit in the second half against Temple. If you can start hitting free throws, if you can just get some semblance of an offense and keep giving that intensity, keep hitting the boards that hard, the season can start turning the corner in basketball.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. We had a nice start, 9-0 start in the second half. It started to really we had him on the ropes. It's like a fighter you have on the ropes, and we didn't knock him out. So anyway, it is what it is.
Tell you what, Dave, that's a tough team to put away because what they do with Haggerty towards the end of games.
Yeah.
They inbound the ball to him, and he's essentially automatic from the free throw line. And, you had a chance there and you did the right things to close out the game. But unfortunately, when they have a weapon like that, I mean, as soon as they get the ball to him, you're going to foul. And then, like I said, he's automatic.
But if you look over the last 3 games, we played against Florida Atlantic. That is a game we should have won. You beat Temple, and then you go toe-to-toe with Memphis. So the thing is, can we keep this up? Because, those are 3 really good teams in the American. So can you keep this up? There's no reason now. I'm talking to the basketball players, calling you guys out, Schwartz and the staff, the players, and everybody else. If you can play that well against Florida Atlantic, Temple, and Memphis, there's no reason you shouldn't be picking up some W's down the stretch here in the American.
No doubt. And Arthur, thank you. And you definitely need to join the Pirate Club. He's talking about that. He was asking about how much are the club level football tickets? I'm not a Pirate Club member, but joining this year, is it worth it? It definitely is.
Well, club level. Let me explain what Arthur is, because he's not a Pirate Club member. Is it worth? When you say club level, Arthur, Dave is referring to sitting inside when he said club level, he means sitting inside, club level, like, cushy seats indoors, being catered to because you're a wussy, that kind of thing. But yeah, you can join the Pirate Club. Look, Arthur, you can join the Pirate Club for as little as $100 a year. Always, the more that you give as much as you can, but you can join as little as $100 a year.
That won't get you.
It will not get you in the club level, no. But
he wants
I wasn't sure.
Well, that's the nice thing about club level. You can sit outside. You can go in or out.
Yeah. Well, again, I think he was getting. I'm assuming, but I think he was getting club level confused with being a Pirate Club member. But no, that doesn't get you club level seating. It just gives you priority. You get to buy your tickets earlier. Depending on your point level, it gives you access to different seats. But to sit club level inside in a suite, you're gonna have to donate a lot of money.
Yeah, he was confused. You got to know. I think it's hey Matt, we were talking about that. Wasn't like $2,000 a ticket for club level and for the season. So
Yeah, but then you also have to be at a certain level to even qualify to buy
right,
those, correct?
right, exactly.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, you got $2,000 a ticket for club level, but how much do you have to give to even be eligible to buy those?
Kenneth says if we can get any postseason basketball tournament, it would be a win. I'll take NIT or CBI bid, of course. Kenneth, we're stuck at 9 wins right now. So hopefully, and Justin, here's our sweet expert, JB, Justin Butts. He said that is correct. So, Justin, is that scholarship level or higher? That's what I am. I think
Justin, how much do you have to give to be? Do you know how much you have to give yearly to be eligible, or just your point level to be eligible to buy club level seats?
suites are sold out for at least the next 10 years. So there you go.
Well, all right. Well, there you go. You're gonna have to sit in Justin's suite if you are gonna sit in one. Look,
No
me
doubt.
and Justin Friday night we were talking. I was at the briefly want to touch on this. Friday night I had a chance to attend the George Whitfield Hall of Fame ceremony in Goldsboro, and got to see Parker Bird go in. Got to talk to Parker for momentarily, shake his hand. Lots of Pirates went in. Paul Hill Jr., former East Carolina baseball player. Your buddy DG, Davey Glenn went in. Dave. Lots of people went in, both Pirates, non-Pirates. And then I spoke to Justin and thought he might be there, being I knew he lived in Goldsboro. So I thought Justin might be there. It turns out Justin lives 12 minutes from my house. So me and Justin's gonna have to slum it one day and hang out with me. Maybe he can come over to the double wide and we can I don't know.
Matt.
Justin, have you ever been in a double wide? I don't.
Hey Matt, I've got him the hookup, and he won't take riding in that awesome rig with all the equipment, the uniforms. It's great commentary, great time. I know Kyle could have on the road, but I told Justin invited me, so if Kyle won't do it, I'll take one for the team and I'll ride in the truck myself.
Well, you guys could do, whoever rides in the truck could do like a little, like a little documentary video. You could highlight all the things that goes into it, and put it up on YouTube. So hey, I think you should do it, Dave. I think you should try it.
Okay. I remember BJ and the Bear. That's how old I am. I love that TV show from the late 70s.
There you go, Justin. Dave talking about riding in the truck with you, and he references Bears and BJs. So I just leave it there.
I did not say that. I did not say that.
You did. You said BJ and the Bear. That's exactly what you said.
That's a show. Justin has seen. He's been in a double wide. He said he's from a little old New Hope. Of course, I have.
There you go, right down the road from New Hope, Justin. I think Justin was terrified to find out that I'm 12 miles from his house, or 12 minutes from his house. Well, I don't know if it's 12 miles, but there's 12 minutes.
There's an agreement. You have to have at least a 10-minute buffer from Justin, so he's got a 10-minute head start, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. He's safe.
Here you go, Mr. Arthur. He says, Kyle, I'm curious, how many football games do you think we'll win next year? This year.
It's hard to say, Arthur. You got to look at how this defense comes together. We hadn't hired a corners coach yet. One thing I'm pretty positive on is our offense is going to be good. Losing Rajay will be a big loss, but we have some pieces at running back. We picked up a couple of others in the portal, and got pieces at receiver. We were the second fastest offense in America at the end of the year. The offense will only get better. I think there's a rebuild on defense. It's hard to say. Tough schedule. You got BYU non-conference. You got NC State non-conference. You got Army in conference. You got Memphis. They may be rebuilding a little bit themselves. Coastal also non-conference. I don't know. I'm not ready to give an answer to that at this point. I think we will be back in a bowl game, but beyond that, get back to me after the spring. I do think we'll be very good on offense though next year. Very good.
Way too early predictions. Matt Semenza, do you have a? We should beat Campbell. If we don't beat Campbell, then
I feel confident we're going to be in a bowl game and we're going to put up a lot of points. I will say that.
Yeah, I think you got to kind of see how it plays out in that portal period after spring ball too. I think that's a big factor. You bring in a few more pieces, you feel really good about your defense, and also how just some of the guys we have progress. Like these guys we have, these young linebackers, these young corners, they're going to progress. They're going to make jumps in spring ball, and you got to just kind of see how it shakes out.
Matt, are you like me? Do you think we're going to be maybe special on offense next year?
I think there's definitely a chance we could be. I really do. I mean, if these new O linemen that we brought in pan out, I think there's a really good chance. I mean, Hauser's going to get so much more comfortable, guys. Like, he's, the thing about Hauser is like he still has a lot of room for growth, and that's not a knock. But he's still a relatively young quarterback, and he's going to get better and better. And he's going to get. You've heard, our offensive coaches say it takes about 2 years in this system before you really master it. You've heard JDB say that. So, he's going to continue to progress.
Yep.
How many guys do you know off the top of your head? Arthur's asking how many people we've lost on the team as far as, I guess, to the transfer portals. What are you saying?
To the portal? God. Arthur, you got to remember some of these guys were asked to leave.
Yeah.
We'll go guys that we didn't want to lose. How about that?
Yeah.
So let's do 1, 2, 3. So Gavin Gibson, IBM,
Barker. Barker, Zakai.
Yeah, Zakai Barker, huge loss. So that's 4. Then you had Sowell's 5, Lamp 6. I would say that's about it that we really didn't want to lose. I think everybody else we really didn't want anymore, or it was kind of mutual. So 6 that really mattered, and then a handful of others that were easily replaceable.
All right, there you go. So we're looking at just a handful of guys, and considering how many great players we have, yes, we didn't want to lose those, but I still think that it's way too early to say that it's going to be a big deal to lose that many guys. You don't want to lose those guys, but I think we did okay in the transfer portal. Like how you gave it A+ or A- and B- between offense and defense.
Yeah, I would say really more on offense because we didn't lose that many. I was really concerned that we might lose Smith. Not Anthony Smith. He's good, but I meant Yannick. Yes, and we held on to him. We held on to Jesus. I just lost my mind. Our quarterback.
Hauser,
thank you. In fact, we held on to all 3 of our quarterbacks. So, like I say, I give our portal grade for offense because we really didn't lose anybody besides Sowell. And then we brought in some people. So I give our portal grade for offense an A-, and then on defense, I'd say a B-, and maybe a C+. And that has room for improvement because I'm like Matt. I think after spring ball, you're going to see linebackers, corners, safeties, et cetera, these Power 5 schools that, are late in their career seniors that want a chance to play, to have a chance to make the league. And we'll get some of those guys post-spring.
Yeah, Kyle, did you count Mims too? I don't know if we got Mims.
I did not. Yeah, that's a big loss.
Yeah,
that's
Mims
7.
That's
7. That's 7. Thanks, Matt, for reminding me.
Yeah, Mims and Barker right up the middle were I think for me, those were the 2 that really killed you.
Yeah, Sakai, I'd kind of put that out of my head. Obviously, Sakai Barker was the biggest loss. But, Mims was a big loss too. And I do not, we didn't replace them. I mean, you can't look and say that we replaced Sakai Barker or CJ Mims. So that's a little concerning. But again, I do think post spring ball, you got a chance to get some older guys that, don't really give a damn anymore about sitting on a bench to make money. They want a chance to play professionally, and they're going to want to go somewhere they can play. So I think we will pick up some guys from Power 5 schools for the defense post spring ball.
Yeah, guys, while we have a chance, wanted to mention a few things about Pirate Baseball. If you guys have a few minutes, and we'll wrap this thing up. To let you know, the priority baseball deadline was Friday, but they'll still be working on that. If you're looking to get tickets, make sure you go ahead and call them. This is Sunday night, go ahead and call them tomorrow. Check with them on Friday. Made sure I'm definitely locked in for the season. Our Extra Innings show debuts on Sunday night, February 9th. It's our 6th season. And guys, we're very excited to have former Pirate, North Carolina Wesleyan pitcher, and now Hall of Famer, Paul Hill. He joins the broadcast. Of course, I'm talking about George Whitfield Hall of Fame. But Paul is going to join us for Extra Innings this year. We're going to have a Hot Stove League special. So our preview show coming in the matter of a week or two. Also want to mention, here's an interesting thing, guys. Just double check from a source of ours, a good friend of ours. No baseball voice for the Pirates. They're going to just get a group of guys to help call the games. One person said patchwork is what they said. I won't mention the source that three of us know. So that's going to be interesting to say the least.
Wow. So where did Scooter go?
That's a good question. Nobody's been able. I don't know that people know. I don't know what happened or what's going on there. But
so for radio right now, we have for football. What's his name?
Jim Zoki.
Zoki, who I like Zoki. He does a good job. I wish Zoki would move his ass to Greenville and be the voice of the Pirates and call all sports.
I agree.
But so it's hard to get an attachment to him when he just calls football, but he does a good job. I don't know who calls basketball because I don't never listen to it. I watch it on ESPN Plus. And then for baseball again.
Here it is. Craig and Justice said he took a job with the Little League in Warner Robins, Georgia. Okay, that's home of our buddy Terry Gallagher.
It is home of Terry Gallagher, yeah. But okay, well, good luck to Scooter. But unbelievable, we don't have anybody to call baseball. I guess it'll be Patrick Johnson.
We're only number 7 in the country. Well,
yeah, I guess Patrick Johnson will call some games, and
Patrick is. I do know for a fact. Hopefully, he doesn't mind me saying. PJ told me, and that was not the source I was talking about earlier. But I did reach out to Patrick a week or two ago. He's going to be primarily doing television, and maybe there's times whenever they don't have television. I guess he can do baseball.
Well, that would be away games. Yeah, there's going to be away games sometimes where you play at Elon where Campbell, where there's no ESPN Plus coverage. They have some goofy ass video service you have to pay for, so you have to listen to the game. So this could be a mess. This could be a friggin' mess for baseball. Hopefully, somebody can step in and do it on the regular for us.
Darren Vaughn.
Say again?
Darren Vaughn. I think I know he's done UNC. I think baseball, but Darren Vaughn is capable of doing baseball for sure.
Where's he at right now? I mean, I don't.
He's doing he does basketball for us, and then he does. I think he may do. Off the top of my head, somebody helped me a few years ago. I believe he does ESPN Plus baseball for UNC. Off the top of my head, maybe.
Okay, well then he's probably already got commitments, but I mean it's unbelievable. Like you said, we're not number 7 in the country this year, Dave. That's incorrect. That's the second time you've said that. I didn't want to correct you, but I'm gonna correct you now. That number 7 ranking was the number 7 fan base in America. Okay. No, we're not. We're in fact we're outside of the top 25 in the receiving votes area on most polls I've seen so far. But we'll probably work our way in the top 25 if we're as good as we normally are. But anyway, where was I going with this? Baseball announcer. That's ridiculous. We're one of the best baseball programs in the country. And, Scooter didn't leave yesterday. It was back in the fall he left. And I can't believe we're left without a baseball play-by-play voice. That's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah. And I want to say hello to Alan. I saw him last night. Alan Vick. He loves my kid. Alexander's a great young man, and Mackenzie is just as good as she can be. Take it easy, my friend. Appreciate you, Alan, for saying that. Also, I want to mention something from Robert. Robert Matthews, very early in the show, we were not talking baseball yet. Robert, I know, has been a great guy, and he's a mutual friend of ours.
Robert, go take Stevie some soup.
But we need to help Robert out. He wants to have Robert is one of those guys that's hardcore, and he wants season tickets. And what he gets mad about, he was saying early in the show, guys, is that he wants to go to games. He has to beg for tickets, and then there's like 200 people there if it's not a ACC school or certain times. And there's a lot of empty seats when he.
Yeah, check StubHub, Robert. Check StubHub.
Yeah, exactly. Check SeatGeek, and you can get them, especially if it's not that. But anyway.
Yeah, I guess, maybe we should have something where if people aren't going to use their tickets, I know people want to make money off their own tickets. I get that. I don't blame them. But, hey,
they don't.
Donate them back to in some cases they don't. If you're not going to sell them yourself on SeatGeek or StubHub, give them back to the ticket office and tell them to resell them, the tickets you aren't going to use to the general public. I mean, there's no reason not to.
And maybe we could have like a deadline every Monday or have some kind of deadline so they would have an idea. But I'll tell you one thing, Coleman and AJ and Parker, everybody that does a great job there, they are really good to the Pirates. And I'm sure they're probably screaming if they're listening to this live or they're listening to the archives, because I see that as it's a great idea. And I'm not knocking you, Kyle. But
you just sell them to the general public, Dave. You just put them back in your ticket inventory and sell them to the general public. I don't see why that would be difficult. If you say I'm not going to use my tickets, here they are, seats X, Y, and Z, and then you just put them back in the inventory to be sold to the general public. Maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but it doesn't seem like it would be difficult.
Maybe not. It definitely would be good to have. There are a lot of Pirate fans that should be there, but I tell you what. The problem is that they have to to defend our ticket office. What happens is, not to get too deep in the weeds, but they have to have a certain amount of tickets for the other team, and then basically what he was saying is the only place they would have is the Jungle for him. And so my thing with the Jungle, there are a lot of people that love the Jungle. I'm not anti the Jungle. I like the atmosphere of the Jungle. It's very cool and very unique. The problem is I love the baseball game, and they need to, I've said this once or twice on the show, but they need to have what I call the 23 club and have a bar out in the center field where they have this huge screen where if you can't make that, you could actually watch the game and make some money for NIL or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I know, and I'll quickly comment on that, Dave, and then we're going to get out of here unless Matt's got anything else he wants to say. You got anything that you want to say? I'm going to concur on that one. It doesn't even have to be a bar, but a screen out in the jungle to watch the game. And I even thought, hell, could they put a screen on top of the press box? The game, for me, for those that don't know, and if you do know, I watch the game primarily football and basketball. I watch mostly on the Jumbotron with my binoculars. It's the easiest way for me to follow everything because of my vision. With baseball, that's not an option. We don't show the game on the scoreboard simultaneously. So I'll go to some baseball games and follow it with my binoculars on the field as best I can. But the jungle's not even an option for me. So if there was some kind of video board that showed the game simultaneously like we do for football and baseball, football and basketball for baseball, for the jungle. I'd like it for the stands also, but for the jungle, it would be, something applicable for everyone. And I wish that is something we would look into.
Another thing too is if this is for regionals and super regionals, I really liked a few years ago when they had that big jumbotron out in the parking lot. Do you remember that, Kyle? Where I think it was for the super.
Yeah, it was for the Texas Super Regional. Yeah, that was cool too. But that's only needed for certain games. But
right.
it would be good for the jungle. I agree with you for all games.
And like I said, the reason I said a bar is because the atmosphere of the jungle is rowdy, and maybe some people would like to go out there and have a good time. But anyway, we'll leave it at that. Make sure that you donate to the Pirate Club. And by the way, don't forget about Team Boneyard. We would love to for people to donate to that, even if it's $10, if it's
you can join for as little as $10 a month to be a monthly contributor to Team Boneyard, and of course, one-time donations of any amount are always accepted, whether you agree with NIL or not. If you want to be competitive on the football field, baseball field, basketball court in 2025 and for the foreseeable future, you better get used to playing players. And the way I look at it is, like I said last week, when we give money to build these facilities like the indoor practice facility, the weight room, we don't get to use that. That's for the players. So I look at it the same way. That's the only way I can look at it, to grin and bear. Paying players is the same difference. So if you want to remain competitive, give it to Team Boneyard. I mean, and if you don't think your $20 will matter, you're wrong. If every East Carolina Pirate fan that sets foot in Dowdy Ficklen Stadium would give at least $20, I mean, it would make such a huge difference. But some people think their small donations don't matter, and it's just not true. And I think we need to do a better job as a university, both for Team Boneyard and the Pirate Club, letting everybody know that every dollar counts.
Yeah, one more thing on that, Kyle. I wanted to get you guys all these bowl games I'm going to, and I know when the Redskins, being a season ticket holder, they have the 50-50 raffle. They do. Speaking of the Redskins, I got to get out of here. My game is getting ready to start. My team.
Yeah, somebody won $28,000 at the Military Bowl.
Yeah. So can we do legally? I know there was some issues there. So to be fair to the Pirate Club, but that would be amazing if we could do a 50-50 club. 50-50
raffle, yeah, for Team Boneyard. Yes, exactly. At every home game. Yes. I mean, it's a no-brainer if we can do it legally.
No doubt.
And I don't see why we couldn't. Sports gambling is legal now.
Yeah, considering everything's pretty much legal now in college football, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you could cheat as much as you possibly want, and nobody's going to say a word. So, like you said earlier, hey, if other people are going to bend the rules, I think we should too.
Agree.
Yeah. What is it that old saying, Kyle and Matt? If they say in racing, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, or something like that.
Jesse Ventura, one of my favorite sayings of all time. Jesse Ventura,
love him.
Great wrestler, governor, conspiracy theorist. Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat.
I love it. We'll leave it at that. Hey, Matt, do you have anything before we go? Appreciate you coming on tonight.
Yeah, man. Good catching up with you guys. Final thing, I just wanted to mention it really quick. I know the game's about to start here. Your Redskins, Dave, but hey, college football playoff. I think we saw the two best teams on Friday. I think Texas and Ohio State were the two most talented teams in the country. Ohio State, what a game. Ohio State was able to make that play and the strip sack for the touchdown. And now you got a national championship, Notre Dame and Ohio State that, I think, I think an outstanding game. So there we go. Another season almost wrapped with college football. And I enjoyed the new playoff. I think they can make some slight tweaks to it in time, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know Kyle does agree with me, but I want to go 16 teams eventually.
I think 12 is fine. I think 16 weakens the bowls even more. And again, I think if you could start playing players directly with bowl revenue, that'll help make the bowls more important again. I'm happy with 12 for now. We just got there. Let's leave it alone for a few years.
All right. Well, we'll get out of here. I'm glad. Hey, we've gone from 4 to 12, so I'll take that right now. But 16 is what BCS, listen to me, FCS has and below. I definitely, out of 130 some teams, 16 is not that many. But anyway, we'll take that up at a later date. Guys, thank you so much again. Don't forget, every Sunday night, we have the Sports Objective regular show. And coming up Sunday night, February 9th, is our debut, the 6th season, hard to believe, of Extra Innings, as we'll have former Pirate and North Carolina Wesleyan national champion pitcher Paul Hill, who's also now in the George Whitfield Hall of Fame. As Kyle mentioned, he'll be our analyst for baseball coming up.
And quickly, Dave, speaking of George Whitfield Hall of Fame, guess who I sat behind all night? Elliot Averett. And talked to Elliot after the ceremony, shook his hand. It was sleeting and freezing rain. I was going to get a picture with Elliot, as he say, head baseball coach, for social media. I thought that would have, been hilarious. But he was very kind, very nice in person.
Yeah.
I was wearing pirate gear like I always do, so I can't say anything bad about him from our one-on-one interaction. Also got to talk to Gary Gilmore, former Coastal Carolina head coach, who's incredible story. He's still battling pancreatic cancer. Been battling it since 2020, and pancreatic cancer normally takes you out in a hurry.
Real
And
quick.
the fact that he coached baseball during that battle is incredible.
No doubt. So looking forward to baseball season, guys, starting on February 14th, Valentine's Day. Take your sweetheart or take somebody you don't like, but show up. That's going to be a lot of fun against George Mason, the Patriots, coming up Friday night, February 14th at Clark LeClaire Stadium. All right, guys, enjoyed it. We'll see you next Sunday night right here on the Sports Objective. Good night, everybody. And as always, go Pirates.
You're watching the Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.